Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today, I figured I would do a story time for you. I just filmed this look right now for Valentine's Day, since Valentine's Day is on Thursday. I don't know if my Valentine's Day tutorial is going to be up before this one, but either way, I talk about this story in my tutorial. So I figured I would film it since I have my makeup done and all that stuff. So last night, around 6:30, I was laying in bed watching my shows and really not doing much, and then all of a sudden I heard some crying outside my window. And I live on the first floor of my apartment, so I hear everything, and my window's right near the parking lot, right near the path where everybody walks, so I literally hear everything. And this woman is hysterically crying, sobbing, and so I immediately get up and I look through my window, and I'm like, oh my god, this woman's crying. And this other woman's hugging her, and the taller woman was on the phone, and she was like, you need to get an ambulance here right away. I've been on the phone for 5 minutes or 2 minutes now, and no medic or anything is here. We think somebody's dead. And she's screaming that, and I'm like, oh my god, they think someone's dead. And at first I was like, oh, it's just some psycho girlfriend who's banging on the ex-boyfriend's door and crying because they just broke up. We've all been there. So I was like, oh, it's fine, she's fine. But then I heard something about someone being dead, and I was like, oh my god, someone's dead. So I was thoroughly invested at this point, and all my lights have been off in my room anyway, because I know it's I said it was 6:30, but I was about to go to bed. And so I opened my shades a little bit to look through, and this lady is literally hugging the tall lady, crying her eyes out, saying, we just got out of the hospital, we just got out of the hospital on Tuesday, he's dead, and all this stuff. And so I was thoroughly invested. So then about 15 minutes later, the medics, and maybe that's dramatic, maybe 3 minutes later, the medics and everyone show up, the fire department, lights, blaring. And so I'm like, oh damn. And so I go and peep through the peephole, and it turns out it's the people right across from me that live right across from me. And so I can see everything through the peephole that's going on, and so the medics are in and out super quick. And I was like, damn, if something was actually up and someone had fallen or something, I feel they would have gotten him or her out on the gurney, and they brought the gurney in and then left without anybody on the gurney. And so I was like, something's fishy, that's so odd, because my grandfather, when he was starting to really get sick, towards the end he would fall, and my mom and I were the first of contact for anybody to call. So I remember going with my mom to the hospital, and I remember all that stuff, and I remember how quickly all that stuff happened. So if he fell, immediately the ambulance would be there, and immediately we would meet them at the hospital. It was super quick. So the fact that this whole thing was kind of prolonged, and nobody was on the gurney, was so weird. Oh, I forgot to mention, so before the EMS got there, this student was walking her dog, and she was like, I know CPR. And so she ran in there and I guess performed CPR on this guy. So anyway, that was way before. And then so the fire department leaves first, then the EMS people leave, and then 6 cops show up, and they're leaving the door open. And so I'm peeping through the peephole trying to listen and all this stuff, and then now it's 7:30, 8ish, and this other truck comes, and on the back I can see everything. So I can see through the peephole for the people across, and then I can see out my window and see everything that's going on. And I opened up my window slightly so I could hear. So this truck comes, and on the back it reads medical examiner truck. And I'm like, oh my God, someone died in that apartment. Like, someone actually died. So I'm like, oh my God, my neighbors are freaking out. Like, I can hear my neighbors like yelling, like, oh my God, someone's dead. And so the coroner comes and he like rolls out the body on a gurney. I got a clip of it. I mean, that may be very disrespectful and I'm so sorry, but I was like in complete and utter shock that this all happened. I'll only show a little clip, but yeah. So they roll out his body and they drive in the truck and they pull away, and I guess his son, he was wearing a Hornets jersey, like came and he was like bawling his eyes out, like crying, and like everybody was hugging him, and I was like, oh my God, someone actually died. Like, that's so crazy. And so then the cops and the manager of our apartment complex and the baby mama number one was talking to the cops and the manager was like, we're gonna give you like a week to get all of his stuff out, and like we just want to be respectful of you, but we just want to let you know, like, you have a week to get his stuff out. And the cops were like, the coroner was like, so who are you, to the short lady who was crying outside my window. She was like, I'm the mother of his first son. And then another lady comes out and she's like, yeah, and I'm the mother of his youngest son. And I'm like, oh my God. So it turns out, like, after all this, so then everybody leaves and the drama's over and I go to bed. So it turns out, like, now that I'm putting everything together, there is this old man who had an oxygen tank who lived across the way. And although I do live in student housing, I don't think they can discriminate against age, or I don't think I'm saying that right, but I don't think they can discriminate against anybody if they meet the requirements to live here. So even though I think you should be a student and you should show your student ID and all this stuff, I guess they can't really say no since it's not run through my school. And so this old guy, he wasn't old, he was like in his early 60s or late 50s, had an oxygen tank, and his baby mama number one like signed this whole apartment for him, and so her name was on the lease. And so they were talking to her about like everything that has to like happen, and I don't really know, like, we don't know what happened to him, so I'm hoping like my apartment complex will like send out an email or something, but they haven't today yet, so I don't know if they will. But yeah, so that happened last night, and everything like started to settle down around like 9ish, and that was like the most dramatic thing that's ever happened to me. And like now I like ran some errands today, like went grocery shopping, and I like walked out of my apartment and like I looked at that door and I was like, someone died in that building, like in that room, like in that apartment, and like someone died in my building. Like, that's so crazy. But yeah, that's story time for you guys right there. That's what happened last night. This is a real thing, and I think what I learned from this whole experience is that life is so freaking short. So there's no time for wasting, because you never know what's gonna happen. Like, that is insanely crazy. So yeah, just appreciate life and live every moment the way you want to live. If it is in your bed like me, or if it's out, or if it's, you know, doing things that you love, or if it's not doing things you love and you're just starting to figure out your life, just do what makes you happy, because life could end at any second, and that's insane. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this story. this sad, awful story. I hope, let's just say like a silent prayer for him and his family. That's so devastating, but it's life. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want more stories, not like this, but like stories that happen in my life that are kind of crazy, let me know, and I will definitely continue doing story time with Caro. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to share, likes, comment, subscribe, and turn on the post notification bell. Bye.